Hello and welcome to another installment of Cosmic Co-Pilots. I'm Michael,
And I'm Lana.
and we're here to talk with you about the full moon lunar eclipse happening this Friday. Lana, I'm going to throw it over to you and tell us what you see, and then I'm going to give it to you from a VA perspective, and we'll see where we align, and we can cuss and discuss, as they say down here in the South. Go for it.
Okay, I am about to share my screen. We're going to do something a little different today.
Ooh, look at that. I
We're going
see
to
us. I
actually
see us
show
multiple
you.
times, actually. Yeah.
Here we
There we
go. Can
go.
you see that?
Beautiful. It looks
Okay.
wonderful.
So this is the partial lunar eclipse that we're having slash full moon. And, Michael talks about vibrational astrology. Well, there are harmonics in Western astrology, and it's amazing how they kind of marry up. So I've got some quick highlights that I want to hit on this eclipse. Now, typically with an eclipse, because we are like in a 2 week window where we've had one eclipse,
Right.
and then I'm sure everybody's probably felt the heaviness of the energy. Like most people think that once you have an eclipse, you're supposed to be off and running, and
Yeah, no, it's been interesting the past since the partial solar. I can't quite put my finger on it, but let's just say it's more than I'd want to deal with.
well, well, and what you're looking at on the screen right here is the reason why. Okay, this is the basically the 11th harmonic in Western astrology. And there's a lot of heavy gray lines between almost every freaking planet, okay? And that means that the 11th harmonic in Western astrology is all about the dog with a bone that can't let go, okay? He's going to chew and chew and chew and chew. And when he's finished chewing up the bone, he's probably then going to go to the corner of your couch and start working on your couch. Because with the 11th harmonic, nothing's ever good enough. So this is one of the major patterns that I see happening because this is at the exact moment. It's at 18 minutes post midnight
Right.
on
12:18 on this Friday. I guess we should give the date. It happens this Friday
August
at
28th.
at 12:18 a.m. Eastern daylight time. For those of you
Right,
who are watching from wherever you are in the world.
right. So I wanted to show you this. The next thing I want to do is I
Well,
want to
hold
show.
up for a second.
Yeah.
Hold up. I'm going to be devil's advocate. For someone who's just looking at this and say, what the hell are all these lines meaning here? Give us just like a 30-second overview because that can be very intimidating by putting up a graph like that or a chart and people are like, I don't know what's going on here.
What it means is that there is a lot of hard work that has to be done between all these planets at this moment in time. Okay, a
Got it.
lot of hard work, and you can see here you got Mars, undecile Venus over here. You've got Jupiter, undecile, which is what the gray lines are. And by the way, if they're thicker, that means that energy is tighter and more intense. Okay, and when I mean tighter, by tighter orbed, it's closer together
Yep.
with the planet it's connecting to.
So the
So
signal is coming through more clearly and strongly. Is that a correct
yes,
interpretation?
that is a correct interpretation. And you've got Pluto here, which is interesting. Pluto is undecile the moon. I don't know if you can see over here on the where I'm looking at the aspects
Yep.
because it's easier to see.
Sure.
Pluto is undecile the moon. Well, that I'm bringing that up because my my next point is that Pluto and Mars are in unique positions. Now remember, I said Mars right here, okay, is basically undeciled Jupiter. So that's assertive energy with growth and expansion, okay? It can also be overdoing it, all right? And people think that Jupiter is like all, flowers and unicorns.
And
It's
and
not.
and an endless prime rib buffet.
Yeah, so Jupiter can be overindulgence, okay?
Yeah.
And when you've got Mars that is undeciling Jupiter, that means you're going to feel like you're basically in the bin of a washing machine and you're doing it and you're going round and round and round and round, okay? is going to be a constant assertion of energy. You're going to want off of the roller coaster ride, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Mars is undecile Uranus, which means there's assertive action with unexpected, like jolts, okay, out of the blue that you don't see coming. Mars is also undecile Neptune, okay? So Neptune is the illusionary world, the metaphysical world. So don't be surprised if your dream states are wild. Like I know for a fact that the veil has gotten thinner, and I've had some very interesting evening encounters. I think most of the time at night I'm off doing work somewhere else, and I'll wake up and I'll
Of course
literally,
you are. Yeah. You're
well, I'll
probably
literally, Michael, this is so strange.
you're
I
probably
have
blowing
woke,
shit up in another dimension, and I mean that
well,
seriously. Being that you have experience in demolition, you're probably somewhere on the plane. It's like, well, what can we blow up?
I literally woke up one morning and I'm in a half sleep. And before I completely wake up, I realize in my sleep that I'm doing this with my hands. Okay.
Oh wow. Okay.
So never has that ever happened before until the last 2 to 3 months. It was busy. I was like, okay, I don't know what the hell I was doing, but whatever. All right. So anyway, Mars is coming down here and it's impacting Neptune. So your dreams will probably be very, very vivid. And then Mars here is undeciling Juno, which is what are you married to? What are you committed to?
And of
And
course,
it's
marriage in that terminology doesn't necessarily mean to a partner or significant other. It could be beliefs, job,
correct.
whatever. Yeah.
Correct. Mars is also undeciling the North Node. Now remember, the North and South Node right now are big in play,
Yeah.
okay? Because it's that Aquarian energy, that collective for the masses, opposing the few, the few rich, the few people that are in charge, okay? And if you haven't checked that out on the political scene, then I want to know what bunker you're hiding in
Yeah.
because I want
Right.
to come join you. And then Mars is also undeciling the ascendant. So this Mars and Plutonian energy in this particular moment in time for this eclipse is pretty significant. Now I want to show you something else here.
All right.
Okay, we're going to come over here and we're going to go to. Oh, I know what we're going to do. Hang on. We're going to go to reports. And we're going to go.
By the way, for people who are watching this is professional astrology software. What you see Lana going into. Not to say that online stuff. Hang on, we just got a warning here. Frame rate reduction. All right, you're good. I don't know what that is. The interwebs are doing something. But anyways, the point is, when you start to look at the astrology from a very orchestrated and systematic approach, you can't get away with the stuff that's often available online for free. I mean, the amount of calculations that the software can do, and it's not just the one that she's using. There's several, standards out there. That's essential for a real astrologer to be doing, because there's too many calculations to get wrapped up in an online thing where, it may look pretty and beautiful, but it's not really digging beneath the surface.
Right. Well, and to your point, Michael, is that, when I do a reading for somebody, it literally takes me about 8 hours of prep of going through the software to analyze your chart. And I generally print out about 35 different reports. So there is no canned software. I don't
No.
care. I don't care what anybody out there's
No,
producing.
no. And I think, where you're going there is kind of what I was alluding to. People say, oh, AI, astrology. No,
No.
because it's just, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. I mean, you may get some information about the basic energies of the planets or the signs, but I digress. I don't want to hijack you. Go
Well,
ahead.
no, and I'm going to pile on a little bit deeper and
Sure.
say, and don't anybody come at me about Chinese software, okay? Because don't even go there, all right? She's probably a nice person, all right? But I'm not a fan of what she's cranking out right now. And I know
Well,
she's got a lovely presentation mode, but
Well,
You know,
I think that's the crux of it right there. Don't fall prey to things that look beautiful
right.
but really aren't accurate. The software I use is a little different than yours. I use Sirius software, and I'll be straight up with you. I think it's one of the best, most powerful softwares in the world, but it's ugly. But it's built by researchers and scientists,
Right.
as opposed to the packaged presentation of, plug this in, get a nice, beautiful report with angels and fairies on it. Anyways,
Well, I'm using Sirius too, Michael. I mean, you got me into that, so now
oh yeah, I know.
I'm
Yeah, but
bouncing back and forth for both of them.
this is
So
what, Solar Fire, I think.
yes,
that you're
this
on?
is Solar
Yeah,
Fire,
and that's
and
another
I've also
standard.
got
I don't know.
Sirius.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's two or three of them that have been around for eons, and that's where I'm putting my money. But
Yeah,
that's just me.
exactly. So the what I brought up before when we were looking at all these undeciles over here, all the gray lines, okay? I brought up the influence of Pluto, which is still at 3 degrees Aquarius, and at Mars, which is at 10 degrees Cancer, right? Over here, this tells you the declination of each one of these planets. Now,
Okay.
so just real quickly, if this is Earth, all right,
Yep.
and this line right here where the blue meets the red, let's just pretend that's the equator of Earth,
Yep.
okay? All the planets generally traverse across the face of the Earth anywhere from 23 degrees above the equator and 23 degrees below the equator, okay?
I'm
You like
with
my Vanna White impersonation?
I love it. It's great.
Okay. So anyway, if it goes beyond the 23 degrees, we call it out of bounds, meaning it's up here or it's down here. So in this particular case, what I'm going to tell you is that Mars and Pluto are right on the out of bounds line. Okay.
Okay, and there's various degrees of out of bounds. There's a little bit more,
Well,
a lot. So
well,
you're saying it's kind of knocking at the door?
they cross the threshold. Okay. They're
Okay.
just on the other side of the threshold.
Yep.
And once you're out of bounds, you're out of bounds. So, it's not going to be like it's a little amplification. It's going to be amplified. You can see down here it's saying 23 degrees and 27 minutes, 23 degrees and 31 minutes. Now, the plus means it's above the equator line. The minus here for Pluto means it's below. Okay? So now you've got an over amplification. And I think that I said at one point that that's very similar to like the difference between normal planets would have like an amp in your home den that you are playing a guitar with versus going to a Billie Eilish concert and hooking up to
Right.
those amps.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we've got Mars and Pluto working overtime.
That's
So-
a lot of energy. I mean, Mars is action. Pluto is intensifier. It's an intensifier, so it has even more action. So it's got the volume, and they're out of bounds. So you got volume cranked up
Right.
all over the place.
And it's all about transformation. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're tired, okay, you're going to be tired after this one.
Great.
I'm just saying that's
Great.
where you're going to go. All right. And most people are going to focus on the nodes here, like the nodes, because that's been a big point of contention.
Yeah.
I'm not going to repeat what we've been saying all along, that this is a nodal deal. I agree with that. I'm not going to argue that point. But I am going to say that there are aspects to this that are making it more difficult. Now, this is the 8th harmonic, which is a function of 4 and 2. This is a lot of squares. Okay?
Yep.
And squares are like the friction points. Okay? This is a lot of squares.
Yeah. That is a lot of
So
stories.
right now, there's a whole lot of energy in the sky that is creating agitation and friction. And whether it is about your personal resources down here in Cancer, okay, or whether it is about your shared resources up here. Now, remember, this is just what the chart looks like at the moment of the eclipse from where I'm sitting today. Everybody's going to be at a different place.
Of
So the
course.
houses don't really matter. But what does matter is that Mars is opposing Pluto.
Yeah.
Okay? So there is that push-pull about what's in the best interest of the overall collective and transforming that versus holding on to what you got personally on your resources. And oh, by the way, because it is also conjunct Ceres, which is the feminine goddess that cuts the umbilical cord. So there's a lot going on right now about, well, what are people willing to live without? And I know that if you're on social media, you've seen a bunch of stuff about people are saying the food shortage is going to be a big deal. Well, Ceres is the nurturer, okay? And it's in Cancer, so there's a lot of talk right now about our food supply.
Protection, taking care of your own. That's what Cancer's all about. So,
Correct.
yeah, no wonder people are hoarding toilet
exactly.
paper.
And then the other aspect that I want to show you here, which is pretty deadgum cool. Okay, we're going to go to 10. Where's my 10? Here it is, right here. All right, you see all these green lines? Now, the red lines are the oppositions. The green lines are adjustments, okay? They're creativity. They're creative adjustments. So this period of time right now is very, very busy, okay? And I do agree with everybody when you talk about, a lunar eclipse is about letting go. There's been a big buildup of energy. But what I'm going to say that's a little bit different, it's not like you're just going to let go on the 28th and you're going to be done.
Yeah, right. If only.
This is going to carry us for like the next 18 months. Okay? There are multiple eclipses coming, and we're in eclipse season, and so the eclipses have a theme. This is really, this will be our second eclipse with this one theme of Aquarius Leo. All right, we've got more coming. This is part of the ramping up, okay? So there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be taking place here. I want to show you a couple other things, which is pretty cool. I'm going to go here. Here is the T-squares.
Yep.
Notice there is a T-square forming with Uranus at the tip.
Now, are you in a harmonic there, or
this is just an aspect pattern.
Okay, gotcha. Yep.
It's the relationship between the signs.
Yep.
So it's at 90 degrees. So you've got Uranus at the tip here, and then you've got Moon and Vulcan. And Vulcan is like the blacksmith that hones steel. Okay? That's not very pleasant with the Moon being on the other side of it.
Well, especially if you're the steel.
Moon wants no part of steel. Moon wants a feather bed, and
I'm talking because the steel gets the hell beat out of it by the blacksmith. Boom. But no, I'm being serious. It's like
it does.
It's no fun. But what ends up happening is that shaping, to get a little esoteric here, the hammering into the fire, out of the fire, it tempers the steel and it makes it strong. But boy, it's not fun being the steel.
No, and this Moon up here in Pisces wants no part of that. Okay?
Right.
That's as squishy as you can get.
It's more like just feel the vibes, and it'll all work out. Meanwhile, boom, boom.
And Uranus is over here in Gemini saying, no, it could go either this way or it could go this way.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So that's kind of why people are kind of freaking out right now. Then I want to show you a couple more. The next one we're going to do is look at the Star of David.
I was going to say, look at those double trines there. Yeah, double grand trines.
Yes, this is a Star of David, okay? With the Moon at the peak. You've got Ceres and Mars associated with it. And then you've got over here Cupido, which is what are the things that you fall in love with? This is one of the axes is on the Moon, and notice it's in Taurus. So this is like your earthly possessions. And then again, it comes down here to the blacksmith. Okay. And it's real close to being conjunct. It's within like 30 minutes of the South Node in Leo. All right. And this Vulcan is in Virgo. So that's discernment. Being critical can be very critical. But these are very powerful configurations. You don't see these in most things that we look at. So when I'm looking at a chart and I see this, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm having a Maxell moment. My hair is being blown back. Okay. And then we've got, let's see, Thor's hammer is at play here. Thor's hammer, and this one's really significant because if anybody's watched, I think it's Marvel. I don't know which one he works for.
Yeah, I'm not a action comic guy, so I can't. And it's Marvel and DC. It's all I know.
One of them. Well, when he throws the hammer, it hits whatever he wants it to hit, and it takes care of it, right? So this again, if you notice, you've got Uranus squaring your moon. So that's not comfortable because Uranus is sudden changes. You can't get comfortable with it, and it's squaring how you want to be touchy-feely and just want to, go smoke a doobie and say, screw it.
Right.
Because it's in Pisces, all right? Yeah. And then you've got both the moon and Uranus semi-squaring down here to the point of Venus and Libra. So Venus, again, is your value systems, it's beauty, it's just wanting everything to be okay. And as Michael so eloquently put it about Libra on the last call, Libra is about finding that balance, and you're going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, okay? Until you finally get to that balance. Now, so you've got here the air of the duality of Gemini with the back and forth here of Venus. So this isn't comfortable, but what this says is this energy is a lot about us reshaping our value system. Okay?
So when you say that, is it about basically holding stuff up for us to look at and say, maybe I valued this for many, many years, but things are changing now and it's okay to let go of that? Is that one way that could show up?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to say.
So it's a re-examination as opposed to just, tradition, we've always done it like this. No. Now's the time to look to say, well, maybe this isn't working and it might be time for a tweak.
Right, exactly. Now, all of this is about tweaking the energy right now.
Yeah.
All of it, okay? And by the way, people, Michael's the only one I'd let put words in my mouth, okay? So...
Please don't. Please don't. If the shoe doesn't fit, don't wear it, man. I mean,
Now, I'm going to show you something else here. Look here. We got a kite, okay?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, got all sorts of stuff going on there.
So you see the Star of David again, but then you've got this kite forming right here.
Yeah.
Okay? And again, look where it's going to. It's going to Vulcan, and Vulcan is conjunct that south node in Leo. So this is all about assessing who's been in power.
Yep.
Is it still working? Do we like it? And, oh, by the way, what are we going to do about it? Because if you're waiting on the, and I'm just going to get political for a minute, if you're waiting on the other political party to get busy, they ain't going to do it.
Yeah. Well, you bring up an interesting point. You mentioned that, at the collective, and obviously doing these type of forecasts as we're doing here, it is for the collective because we don't have your chart. But is it appropriate to say, that happens at the collective level, but it also can happen at your own level? Maybe with you and a boss in a job where it's like, this isn't working anymore. Maybe I got to get out of it, or a relationship, or things that I've held near, and it could be interpersonal stuff with family members where, the energy is happening at a real high level for the collective, but this ultimately funnels down and impacts us personally as well.
Well, as above, so below. So whatever it is at the higher level, the collective level, it's also reflecting at the personal level.
Gotcha.
There is no different. There is no separation.
But it manifests differently, specifically more personally to us when we're looking at our own lives versus, the worldwide, global, intergalactic collective, whatever that is.
Correct. But there is no. To Michael's point, it may manifest a little differently, but it's the same issues repeating over and over and over again.
Yeah.
You're being asked, what are you okay with? And what are you not okay with?
Right.
And oh, by the way, what are you going to do about it? Because if we're waiting on somebody else to do something,
Complain. That's what that's what most people, they just complain and take no action. Am I right or wrong though? I mean, it's like, oh,
no.
things are terrible and the world's going to hell. What are you doing? Oh, nothing. I'm sitting here reading the paper. Well,
Well, okay. So if you want to find out what's going on in the world that's not getting posted on media, I'm going to have just a real quick sidebar.
go ahead.
I am doing research about the planetary energies and how they are manifesting on the planet globally. Okay.
Archivally, right? I mean, because I know what you're up to, but just give a little more.
It's an archival. So at the end of each day, what I'm doing is I am telling the computer, go out and find events that match these energy signatures. Okay? And the energy signatures are representative of the different transits that are taking place right now.
Right.
So the things that you would see in here, I'm saying, okay, computer, this is about choosing your value systems, or this is about opulent displays of power related to the South Node in Leo here, okay? Or this is about the good of the collective being the North Node in Aquarius, all right? And it's going out and it's finding the events, and then based upon the quantity of them, it's rating the intensity of it each day. What I have found out, and what this is trying to tell us is mainstream media is dead.
Oh yeah,
They are not
people get
reporting
their
on.
news from this one way or another. You know, informal sources. Now, the problem is you got to be careful of who you get your sources, who you source your information from,
Well,
because back in the
correct.
day there was a little bit of quality control when you had 3 television stations when I grew up and there was no internet and no. But now, yeah, you can go follow some idiot who says the world is made of, jelly donut filling.
It's always back to the donuts for you, isn't it?
It is. It's pathological.
Well, just so you know, I quote my sources and I have a link to them so you can go dig into it.
Yeah,
And
and that's worth checking out because you're coming up with some very interesting parallels there as far as what's going on and linking it
right.
to the energy that's happening in the sky.
If y'all are interested in following it, I'm on Substack under my name, Lana K. Coble. Go find me, and I'm doing it for free, so you can go out and see it and see what's going on. But let me get back to the subject here, okay?
Yeah.
We've also got an almost kite, which this is as close to being a kite here, and notice the kite's going in the opposite direction, again, because of that Star of David, and it's going through the moon in Pisces. So the moon in Pisces is your personal protection, what you value emotionally. And Pisces is about service for the good of the many, not for the few. Okay? Which is in keeping with this North Node and Aquarius type energy. I don't know if anybody's big Spock fans, but and I'm going to stop sharing now. There was a movie about that, and Spock was actually quoted as, "You do what's for the best of the many,
Yeah.
and not for the few," which is one
Well,
of my
that's
favorite.
that's the whole. I forget. In my history is not the best, but the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, and then they picked up on that, and it's a similar type of deal.
Right.
What's going to benefit the greater good as opposed to 0.0001% of the population.
Right, right. So that's what I'm coming up with. It's going to be a very intense energy. It's not. I wish I could tell you that we're going to get a break. My advice to everybody is, do self-care. Do the things you got to do to take care of yourself. And now I'm going to shut up because I've gone way over.
That's
And
all right. So
my
I've made an editorial decision, and I'm just going to give a little tidbit here because you're on a roll. I don't want to interrupt you. Let me give you just a little flavor from the VA world, and then I'm going to zip it because no one wants to watch 2 hours of this, especially me, because I got to edit it. So, excuse me. Should probably cut that out. All right.
Hey, Michael, I love you, man.
Yeah, love you too. All right, so here's the deal. You got the whole axis of let me get back to and I'm not going to share anything because I don't want to do that right now. Moon in Pisces and Sun in Virgo. So you've got this dynamic here. You know, Piscean energy is kind of like feel it and it'll interpret itself. Virgo is like, forget feeling, I got to know what's happening. Where are the particulars? What's going on? So you got this push and pull of things evolving naturally and kind of figuring it out. And I wrote a neat little note on this, but now let me see if I can, let's see. Oh yeah, Pisces says, pay attention to this. Virgo says, all right, let me take a deeper look. So Pisces might pull you into something and say, where we need to direct that attention. And Virgo then helps you tease out what's going on because you've got this access. You've got the two energies of the sun and moon, which creates an actual full moon. So you might get your curiosity sparked and then be prompted to do a deeper dive. I'm just going to cover two planetary combinations, and basically they're the same with an add-on. So sun, moon, and Mercury. All right. Sun, moon, and Mercury are connected during this full moon. And it's about connecting and communicating from an emotional perspective, energetically, from a VA standpoint, because we just look at the underlying energy process. The moon brings in our emotions, Mercury helps connect thoughts and ideas, and the sun puts it front and center in our life. So this is the time to communicate whatever you need to communicate. You may have been holding your tongue for however many days, weeks, months, or years. Or you may want to put something out into the world. I'm not talking about starting a process now, because we generally don't want to start something new under a full moon. But whatever you've been working on, now is the time, and this is the kickoff. I'm not saying you got to cram it in all on the 18th, unlike, what people think. This is sort of like the launch button, where if you're looking to push something out into the world, this is an opportunistic launch pad. We also have Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Uranus connected. Now, you could just say, well, you just added Uranus on there. And yeah, technically we did, but it's a different configuration. So it kind of counts as a separate read. But what that does is it adds excitement. It adds breaking you out of the norm. It's like time to stop sitting around and let's go. And by the time that we do one of these for the next time, and you're aware of what's going on, so we'll just tease people here. I'm working on something that I'm getting ready to push out into the world. And no, I'm not pregnant. But that's kind of the essence of what this is about. So it's like, as I step back and look at this, because I take a peek at stuff, a couple of months ahead, because that's what I do. I'm an astrologer. I want to see what's going on. And my timing is such where it's like, okay, this is cool. And which is why I've held off making any type of announcements and all this sort of stuff. But the idea is this: a lot of energy, eclipses last a long time. This is the ignition switch. And now is the time for you to figure out what it is that you need to communicate, and do so with vim and vigor, as opposed to just a boring, well, here's just a bunch of facts. No, it's get excited about it. Get your sun involved, which makes it front and center. Mercury connects those thoughts. Venus makes them elegant, and you've got Uranus that brings things all together. In fact, I misread the note here. So I mentioned before Sun, Moon, Mercury, and now Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Uranus brings this elegance to be able to push things out into the world in a way that not only lands with folks and is lively, but has an elegant nature to it.
Well, and Michael, all those planets you named, except for Uranus, are all personal planets.
Absolutely, which means, personal planets affect you as an individual more in depthly than the generational ones once you hit out to Uranus and beyond. But Uranus adds the liveliness. But yeah, this is very personal. So I think a lot of people will most likely, whether they want to or not, or realize it or not, will start taking personal inventories. They may say, I don't like living where I'm living, or I don't like this person I'm connected to, or I may not like the job I'm connected to, and I might need to communicate. And sometimes communicating that can help shift the trajectory. Other times, it may be time to pack up your tent and go camp somewhere else.
Or you may not like what's going on in your community, and you may decide to get involved.
Or you may get involved to say, let me bring some new ideas to the table. It's not about just cutting and running. It's what do you have in your mind and heart and spirit and all that other good stuff, and what do you want to share and put out there? Not necessarily going to be smooth sailing. You may have to work at it. In fact, you will have to work at it based on what we're seeing here. But this is the time to get your ideas out there. They may not
And
be heard.
take care of yourself while you're doing it too, because this is not going to be an easy thing. Okay,
No,
I showed you.
It's intense.
It's intense. It's like me. Okay, and I'm
Yes.
used to living with me, and sometimes I get tired of me. Okay.
All right. On that note, because these keep getting longer and longer and longer, which, on some hands is good, but, again, how much astrology can one person take? And that's coming from an astrologer. How do folks find you if they want to know more about you and what you do and the reports that you're putting out and the Substack and all the other stuff that you're doing?
On Substack, it's at Up Uranus Astrology. On Threads, it's at Lana K Coble. Okay, you can find me on YouTube. And by the way, we had somebody say that they would like to have their chart read by us, and then they haven't responded back. So if you want to go on a live session, if you're brave enough,
Yeah. Realizing that we're going to be, dissecting your chart for the world to see. But, obviously we're not going to get into your deep, dark secrets. But if you want to take a shot at kind of a tag team reading
Right.
here where you're going from the Western perspective and me from the VA, drop a note in the comments and we'll figure out how to make that happen.
and as I tell everybody when I play golf, it's the most fun you can have with your clothes on. Okay.
Yeah, well, there you go. There you go. I've got all sorts of images running through my
I know
head.
you do. I know you. Well, I gotta leave it with a bang, baby. I gotta go out hard. Okay, just.
All right. And if you're looking for me and you want to know more, visit BlueRidgeAstrology.com. I'm also on all the socials under the same moniker, at Blue Ridge Astrology. And if you've been, listening to this instead of watching it, you can tell that right below there's always the URL for both of us, which makes it nice and easy to find. All right, Miss Lana, happy full moon eclipse to you. And we'll do this again soon. And as I always say, I'm not giving you a commitment of date and time because that's not how either one of us roll. So once the inspiration hits us, we will do another installment of Cosmic Co-Pilots. Any parting words?
Y'all don't do anything I wouldn't do. Okay.
That's a great way to end it. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, y'all.
Happy eclipse.